Hey everyone, you on listen to L Boogie. This will be my first full video of 2023. Today's topic is going to be, I don't exactly know what title to give it, except that it's another part of a video I made concerning people being held accountable for the things that they do, particularly people in our families and communities. Okay. Oftentimes, depending on individuals, depending on who you are, depending on your standards, and just depending on the person. Okay. Myself, and this is not a thing where I'm indicting other people about how they handle their business, but this is how I make an attempt to handle my business whenever I am in the wrong. So if you're familiar with my videos, you know that I use myself as an example in trying to get my point across. So I'm going to use myself as an example. Okay. I recently rented a car, and I'm not going to mention the company's name. Don't want to give them a free plug or anything like that. But the rental company that I rented my car from, I had a few issues with them, and it was sort of a misunderstanding on my part because it had something to do, the car that I was renting was from the state of Florida. And every state has their, I'll say, registration, tags, registration looks different. Georgia and a lot of other states, maybe North Carolina included, where I've lived in North Carolina, and Massachusetts, have smaller versions of their tag registration or car registration, smaller. Florida is a little different. They have it looks like basically a whole sheet of paper. And why they need that much information on a sheet of paper to show that your vehicle is registered in the state of Florida is beyond me. But I guess it serves a purpose for that state. So the date was 6. It's a big date for the registration when the next time it needs to be renewed. 6/23, so that's June 23rd. So it was just a mistake. I saw that date, and then as I read further, I couldn't really ascertain what was going on with the registration. So I assumed that it was an expired registration. I was like, why would they give me an expired registration if I'm renting a car? Okay. So that was a mistake on my part after I read further, which I, felt like I shouldn't have to read a whole sheet of paper to see that when a vehicle is registered and when it expired. It could have been more simple, like the state of Georgia, North Carolina, and Massachusetts, but to each state his own. So with me having this big understanding, I got upset, and I sent several emails and used a few choice words because I had spent my money, and I felt like I wasn't receiving what I was supposed to receive for the money I spent. So I proceeded to not really break them off proper like I could have, but I used a few choice words to let them know that I was displeased about what I thought in my mind had happened. So afterwards, when I looked at the information and saw that I basically was wrong and that it was a misunderstanding on my part, what I did, I owned up to it. I didn't know the people personally that I sent the emails using a few curse words to. So I had sent probably about 5 or 6 emails and a few texts because That's what I do. So I went back to make it right, and I apologized in words. I was like, I explained to them the issue, and I also apologized for the tone and the words that I used, because I actually called somebody some short's name that, I could repeat on him, but I can't remember exactly what I called him. So I apologized. I was like, I'm sorry. I misunderstood the registration. I felt like you guys were giving me a vehicle that wasn't registered in that state, and it would have caused me, an issue if in the event that I got stopped by state patrol or police or whatever. But that wasn't the case, so I wanted to make it right. And the way I made it right is I just went back and I apologized. And that's the way I do things, okay? But often people do things in error or as a mistake, but they don't go back immediately and try to right the wrong. They let it go on, but they expect the people that they did wrong to or whatever happened to just forgive them. Okay, another part. I could have, excuse me, I could have just like, oh, well, made some sort of excuse why I shouldn't have went back and text the customer service agents that I was communicating with through email and through text. I could have just made up something why I shouldn't go back and apologize to them for what I did, because it was wrong. Oftentimes, and a lot of times, people, that's what people do. They'll say things to people, be it family members, friends, or whatever. They'll do things to people. They won't apologize for it, but they expect the person that they wronged to want to deal with them. Okay, you wronged me. You did something. I'm just use myself as an example. Okay, I'm gonna use myself as example in the example I just named. I sent them hateful emails and texts. I sent it using angry language and being irate to a certain point. So how is it the people that I sent the hateful emails and texts to, how is it their fault, or how is it their responsibility to forgive me for what I done? How is it? So, not the flip side, but something that parallels that is people and behavior. They do things they're not supposed to do to you, say things that they aren't supposed to say to you, know that it's wrong, but won't right the wrong immediately. But then they want you to deal with them. If family members, friends, or whatever, they want you to deal with them, or not only deal with them, they want you to forgive them and continue on like nothing has happened. And I spoke about this before in a video I made towards the end of last year, which wasn't not too long ago. No, I think I made a video in 2021 about people not want to be held accountable, and black people in specifically not want to be held accountable for the things they do or the mistakes they made or the errors they make, but then want to pass. Not only in the new year, but going forward, I really think people need to examine that method. People go, I'm talking about, I don't care if it was something that happened 50 years ago. If you wronged a person, then the only way you can make it right is, to me, and this is just my opinion, is two things you do to make something right with a person that you wronged, however you wronged them. Some things are, a lot of things you can't repair, but what you can do is up to the individual if they want to forgive you or not. But you should say you're sorry when you do it in the beginning and you know it's wrong. It could take a day or two or an hour or two. Like once I realized that I was wrong about the car registration for the rental car, I felt bad about what I said to the customer service agents and whatnot. So I went back and I apologized. Written note, I wrote emails and sent texts and apologized for basically cursing them out for something that, one, it wasn't their fault. It was my fault because I didn't, I was trying to rush, and most registrations, you don't have to rush. It just tells you, you see you see the VIN number, or everything about the vehicle, including the license tags, possibly the insurance on some states, and it lets you know the beginning of the when the vehicle was registered and when it expires. Florida's different, and I was in a rush, I was frustrated, so I let them have it. It was wrong. Anything, when you deal with people, I do that to get it off of me. You know what I'm saying? Why let, and I don't even know these people personally. I could have just left things the way it was. I'm quite sure people like myself go and do the same thing. They'll go and curse people out and whatnot. Customer service agents, they catch a lot of hell. I couldn't do the job. Just not something I would want to do, is be on the phone with people when they're irate. And oftentimes it's not the customer service agent or the people working in food service or whatever service industry. Oftentimes it's not their fault, but you take out your frustration and anger on people that's closest to you. So if someone's serving you and the food's not right, you take it out on the server instead of the person that's in the kitchen cooking. That's part of the nature of the job. But you can make things right by being sensible and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I know that you don't have anything to do with that." So oftentimes when I'm talking to customer service agents over the phone and there's an issue with a bill or an account or something, I let them know that I know that you personally aren't responsible for what is going on here or the issue. But the nature of your job is, part of it is by you being, customer service, is to listen to people vent and raise all kinds of hell. Some people are irate to the point where, and I've probably been like that before, where you actually take it out on the person, and some people are really nasty and whatnot. And it's not the customer service agent part. They're there to try to help rectify the situation or whatever. And it's the same thing when you're dealing with people. Okay, do not wrong a person. Whatever it is, don't apologize and make it right in a timely fashion. But then when there's an issue, you feel like the person need to forgive you. And that is a thing with our people, with black people. We do all kinds of things to each other, won't make it right, but want to pass. Well, you got to forgive me. Nobody don't have to forgive you for the bullshit you do. Nobody has to forgive me for the bullshit I do. But you can rectify it, attempt to say, "Look, I'm sorry. I was wrong." How hard is that? I know it's hard for some people, especially these people who got to stick up their ass and think they doodle don't stink. I'm just keeping it real 100. You know what I'm saying? I am not too big of a person to apologize if I did something wrong. I don't know. I mean, every individual is different, but I have a conscience. I try to think forward. Okay. It's just, to me, it's just the right thing to do. It could be part of my raising. It could be part of my personality or who I am, because, everybody's, don't deal with things like that, deal with things the same way. So I personally would I was like, I apologize if I do something wrong. If I feel like it's wrong, oftentimes it couldn't be a case where I'm not wrong. But if I feel like I'm wrong and I wrong somebody, I want to rectify it, say I'm sorry. If I was let's say for instance, you arguing with somebody, you going back and forth. I apologize for my part in the argument, the part that I was wrong for. If the other person decides to apologize for the part that they were wrong for, that's on them. But the fact remaining is you cannot go and wrong people with words and actions and then expect them to forgive you and deal with you. They don't have to. And we as a people have become accustomed. We deal with each other that way, and we deal with enemies that are from that are outside of our community that way. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to name names because people from outside our community, they come in our community, they set up shop businesses or whatever. They treat us not good most of the time, but we forgive them and return and spend our money with them and enable them to feed their families, pay mortgages, and send their kids off to school. And oftentimes they don't apologize in return. They don't. They may, if they own a business, they may cut prices or whatever because they don't want to lose money. Because that's basically what it's about. It's about money with them. So we have a thing where we forgive people too easily and not hold them accountable. People need to be held accountable. Forgiveness is for the person. Say, for instance, someone does something wrong to me. I forgive them because that's for me. So nobody is like renting space inside your head. You don't let a situation like that control your life because you having bad feelings against somebody who's done something wrong. So you forgive them and you move on. But that doesn't mean you have to deal with them. And that's the thing that we as a people do not understand. If you treat somebody wrong, they forgive you. That doesn't mean they have to be friends with you, be it family, friends, dogs, cats, rabbits, or chickens. Okay? They don't have to deal with you. If someone, I know the type of person I am. Depending on what it is, and, if someone does something wrong to me, it just depends. It depends on how I feel. And generally, these days, at the age I am now, and the stage I am in my life, if you cross me, I ain't fucking with you no more. If you cross me, depending on what you did, I ain't fucking with you no more. I'll forgive you, but our relationship is basically done. You get love from a distance. And I don't care who you are. That's who I am. See, now, in our community, we're overly religious. We take parts of the Bible that suits us and we quote that, while we leave other parts of the Bible out. Like saying somewhere that you're supposed to forgive people 1,000 times. But then it says another part that you're not supposed to be anyone's doormat. Which one should you go by? I forgive people, but I'm not going to come back and we're going to have the same relationship so you can keep doing the same stupid shit over and over again. I'm not built like that. I'm not built like that, and I'm not going to be built like that. I give people chances in the past. At the age I am now, you don't get too many chances with me. That's just how I am. And if I have to contemplate, and, I don't even want to deal with this person or these people, then I don't have to. You don't have to either. So going forward in 2024, 2023, I'm getting my years mixed up. I'm not going to tell you that you should or shouldn't, but I will say this much. Family, friends, depending on if they wrong you with their mouth or their actions, you forgive them. Because forgiveness is for you. But if you don't want to deal with them, being through communication by talking, or you don't want to be in their presence, you don't have to. You don't. You don't have to. And that especially includes people outside of our community. You go and you give these people your money. They don't live in your community. They live in their own communities. They send their kids to college. They pay their mortgages. They open other businesses off your dollar. If you go into their establishment and they disrespect you, you forgive them for what they did, you know. And oftentimes it's a thing where it's violence. You know, you go in some of these Korean-owned businesses or foreigner-owned businesses, them in particular, because there's videos showing where they mistreat black women when they come into the establishments, or, you know, or whatever. It could be a convenience store or a hair shop or beauty shop or whatever. And there's footage showing where they, you know, beat people with broomsticks or put their hands on them, put hands on people. That's because they have no respect for you. They have no respect for you because you don't have no respect for yourself. So you carry your asses back in there after you've been mistreated and you spend money with them. That's why a lot of foreigners, they have no respect for us because, and I talk to people, they say, one, we'll buy and sell to anyone. But I'm keeping it real, we're hard-headed people. Don't listen to nobody. We do what the hell we want to do. Then you get mistreated in the store. You got, you know, groups, you know, that'll come and try to take up for you. Oh, you gonna dog them out because they telling you not to go back in the store and patronize the store that with the people in there just mistreated you. Because we are hard-headed people. I'm not on here to be no damn body's friend. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like what I say, you know where to get to step in and cut the corn. You know what I'm saying? That's how I roll. And because I'm to the point where the spoon feeding, trying to be nice and get people to do things, you know, try to speak to them like people, oftentimes that don't work. You have to dog them out, you know, to get their attention, or use certain words to get people attention. It's sad, but that's the state of affairs that we in right now. But when it comes to people in your personal life, your friends and your family, and it comes to people in your community, people that you spend your money with, if they don't respect you, you ain't got to deal with them. You go into a store, they follow you around like you're going to steal some shit, and they should be falling at your feet because your dollar keeps them alive. But you don't. They don't respect you because you don't respect your damn self. You don't. And you know, hey, it is what it is. Same thing with family members. I don't give, and I'm keeping it real. I'm very comfortable with the way I deal with people. You know what I'm saying? And if I gotta agonize over, you know, dealing with somebody, and I don't give a shit who it is. I don't care. Family, friends. If it's a thing where if it pains me that I don't even want to even talk to you, then I'm not going to talk to you. You know, good luck to you in your life. It is what it is. That's just me. Because I don't have to. I don't have to deal with you. And the same thing for my audience or whoever is in the sound of my voice listening to this. You are not obligated to deal with people. Keep forgiving people. And go back to, you know, you forgive people, you thinking they're going to change their behavior. That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to, you do somebody wrong, you apologize, and the way you make it right is you don't do it again. But we have a tendency, especially family, thinking that we can wrong people and continue to do it over and over and over again, but the person you wrong, they're not in the right. They're wrong because they don't want to deal with your ass, or they don't want to be around you, or they don't want to talk to you. They got the problem and you don't have the problem because we're on this religious tip that you gotta forgive them. You ain't got to forgive nobody. It's on you. You forgive them. Yeah, I ain't saying you don't have to forgive them. You don't have to forgive them, but it would be best for you to forgive the person. But after that, you don't have to deal with them no more unless you want to. Now, if you want to go back, because people not going to change their behavior. Because it's like this forgiveness thing is people like, oh, okay. Human nature takes the path of least resistance. It's easier for people not to change their behavior than it is for people to change their behavior. If you do somebody something wrong, or do something wrong to somebody, depending on what it is, ain't really depending on what it is. It could be small to you, but big to them. And if you don't make it right, that's on you. But if the person goes, they say, I forgive you, but I don't want to talk to your monkey ass no more, that is their prerogative and their rights. So you can't be upset. Me, I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I'm not. That's just how I feel. If you cross me and I'm not fucking with you, and that's it, I'm not fucking with you. Excuse the language. I have a parental, I want to say law. I made this video, and when I upload it, it's not going to be uploaded for kids. My previous video for the new year is uploaded because it doesn't have racy or profanity in it. This one is for adults because this needs to be said. You as an individual forgive people for what they do all the way up. I'll say even all the way up to murder, because you have a lot of people, their loved ones get murdered by police. You forgive them for their act, but then there has to be justice. Oh, I forgive you, but I'm gonna sue the shit out of you. I'm gonna forgive you, but you're gonna pay me. I'm gonna forgive you, but you going to jail for taking my loved one, life, friend, or whatever. I mean, that's how it has to be done. That's the highest level. On the lower level, like people saying things to hurt your feelings or doing things to hurt your feelings, yes, forgive them. Forgive them, because that's for you. But if you don't want to ever see their asses again in this life, while God has us breathing in oxygen and out carbon monoxide, you don't have to. Excuse me, you don't. So it's like a thing where they feel like they're being betrayed. Oh God, what is he? It's like it's flipped. It's like you doing something to them because you don't want to deal with it. You don't want to talk to them. You don't want to deal with asses no more. You don't want to deal with them. Well, he wrong. He ain't got to act like that and this and this and that. You know what? Fuck that. I'm saying it just like that. Fuck that. It's on you if you want to deal with the person again. Because if they haven't apologized, and one, apologized, two, change their behavior, why would you want to deal with them and they haven't apologized, or you can't see that they changed their behavior since the last time you had an issue with them? Why? Put yourself through that again when the person has not changed. It hasn't changed. You don't have to do that. In the new year, last year, this year, 10 years back, 30 years back, in 2030, you do not have to deal with people that have wronged you, but it is best, in my opinion, that you forgive them so you can go on with your life. But you do not have to deal with them. You don't. And sometimes they're going to be on their deathbed or in a position where they sick, or, if you don't, hey, it's up to the individual. It's up to you. If you feel like, you want to have mercy to the point where you want to deal with them and they in a bad situation with their health or whatever, that's on you. Or if they not, it's on you if you want to deal with them, period. That is on you. So don't let nobody guilt you into dealing with somebody that's did something to you wrong They didn't make it right on their end. You forgave them so you can move on, move forward with your life. But people upset with you, or the person is upset with you because you don't want to talk to them. No, you're not wrong. They were wrong. So in the case of me, I always say this: don't be sorry. Be careful. Because if I do somebody wrong, or I hurt somebody's feelings, and if they bring, because you know when you're wrong. People know right from wrong, but like I say, people choose human nature. People choose the path of least resistance. That means if they can keep kicking you, or if they keep trying to say things to bring you down, they'll keep doing it. They'll keep doing it because they're not gonna change their behavior. But you don't have to be in their presence for them to do it. If they do it, you won't know about it, but that's on you. But if you want to go back and get some more mistreatment or whatever, that's on you. Me, if you cross me, you're done. You're done. Especially in where I am now, in my maturity and where I am in my life now. I'm not dealing with people and they bullshit. I'm just not. I'm not perfect. But what I won't do is, like, I have a conscience. I shouldn't have said that. People know right from wrong. They know. But in their head, they'll come up with an excuse or something to make it right for the dumb shit they say and the dumb shit they do. Feel me? That's what that is. But you do not, as an individual, you don't have to deal with people that mistreat you. I don't give a shit who it is. Your mama, your daddy, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews. Friends, close friends, distant friends, platonic friends, girlfriend, boyfriend, your dog, or your cat. You do not have to deal with people who wrong you but won't change their behavior. You do not have to deal with them. And that's all I have to say about that. Happy New Year. This is my message in the new year. This is more so inspirational than politics. But of course, there'll be an issue that, I like to hit a topic while it's hot on my mind. Why it's rolling around in my head. Because I was thinking about this particular topic. I'm like, man, this would be something good to spill out for the new year. You do not have to deal with people. It's just, trying to make you feel guilty. Well, you should forgive them. Yeah, I have, but I ain't fucking with you no more. That's how it is. I know it's a little vulgar. Those of you who can't stand the language, you can turn it off. But this is what it is. This is my channel. Some of my videos will have some profanity in it, and some won't. But profanity is just an exclamation point on what people say. Because you can't give a message that people understand if it's all curse words. Curse words are like exclamation points in the middle or at the end of a sentence or sometimes in the middle. So I say again, you don't have to deal with people. You don't have to keep doing that, because you'll be like, wow, I thought this person changed, but they hadn't changed. They hadn't changed. Because a lot of times when you say sorry, you're admitting that you did something wrong when you say you're sorry. Then after that, you're supposed to go and change your behavior. And the main thing is not to do it again. But people who are who they are, that's in them. And they think they deserve a pass. I don't give a damn if they pissed you off 30 years ago. They pissed you off. And if you pissed off about what they did, and they still haven't came to you and apologized and said they're going to change their behavior, you do not have to deal with them. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? I'm going to say it again. I don't care how long it was ago. It could be yesterday, it could be 30 years ago. If someone does something wrong, says something or does something, and they don't apologize and then change their behavior after they apologize, or they're walking around and they pissed off at you and feel like you're doing them wrong because you don't want to deal with them, you don't have to. You don't have to deal with them. That's up to you if you want to deal with them or not. Well, Happy New Year. I got about a few seconds left on this video. I'm at 36 minutes. So I'm gonna sign off before my time run out. And I'm gonna say Happy New Year, everybody. This is the L Boogie Speaks 2 show. First serious video for 2023. Love y'all. Love each other. Peace.